Hello again, sports fans that are not really sports fans. The sport of love. I just say hello again, sports fans, sometimes. It's fine. It doesn't... I don't... Please, there will be no sport. There will be no sport here. I promise. Unless there's a hunting arc, in which case that'd be fun. Anyway. This is my vow to my liege. One more time. Again. Because I liked it so much. But also, I've gone through and I've fixed a few things. Notably the audio. Hopefully the audio is better. It doesn't sound any different to me. Is the problem. And I did the audio check and was like, that sounds fine, but let me lower it a bit more just to be sure. So I apologize for the I formally apologize. I forehead to the floor apologize. Now to remember all the voices I did. Okay. My liege, head priest. Have you found him?
臣与陈峰分头行动，山北没有发现。臣已经派人增援陈峰了。
Shenfang and I went our separate ways to search, but I could not find anything in the hills to the north. So I sent Shenfang some reinforcements.
相国，等少君坐下来再说吧。他在剑池底受了寒。
Prime Minister, please wait until my liege has taken a seat before continuing.
来人，给少君端碗热汤来。
Men, give our liege a hot bowl of soup.
少君，你们在池底耽搁了那么久，是不是出了什么事？
My liege, you were at the bottom of the pond for so long. Has something happened? There is a long crack on the sacred ding. We don't know if it is the doing of the dragon god's followers or if the sealing spell is wearing out.
臣以为剑池于德鼎难破，仅凭3个信徒还不足以成事。
It would be hard to get to the ding through the sword pond with just 3 followers. Is the Prime Minister trying to suggest that the dragon god's followers did not come here to break the sealing spell?
我同意相国所言，破阵礼仪秘密行事，又何必绑架其人，惹出那么大的动静呢？
I agree with the Prime Minister. Why would they kidnap someone from Qi and cause such a commotion when the way to break the spell is known to be a secret?
啊，莫非绑架齐国史官才是信徒的目的？
Ah, unless their real goal was to kidnap the archival officer.
有可能。先王当年曾捕杀信徒，捣毁龙神庙，仅存的余孽肯定对姬无恨之入骨。绑架齐国史官，或许是为了报复。
That is a possibility. They must still resent us for executing their followers and burning down their temples. Kidnapping the archival officer was probably their way of taking revenge. Wouldn't it be easier to assassinate us instead?
虽然直接，却不是最有效的方式。
You are right, but it would not be the most effective way. Wuzishu raises his eyes to look at me, expecting me to infer what he means by the most effective way. After pondering over it for a while, the cold that the hot soup had rid me of is slowly starting to creep up from my feet. Taking someone from Qi hostage and forcing us to open the way to the sword pond would enable the dragon god to escape, which would destroy Jisu immediately.
如果胁迫不成，也可杀掉骑士，破坏齐吴联盟。齐军夫人是鲁国人，若再与晋国联合， 对吴国将是个大威胁。
If we refuse to meet their demands, they may still kill the victim and cause a break in diplomatic relations between Ning and Qi.
好狠辣的诡计！
What a malicious plan! We want you to find the perpetrators, even if you have to dig 6 feet under to do it. The spilt blood of my father and brothers must be repaid with blood. Wu Zishu and Sheng Dan raise their hands to make a pledge when suddenly the doors are pushed open as Shen Fang hurries in.
少君，在庙南的养和界发现余孽踪迹。
My liege, I have found traces of the insurgents on the south side of the temple, around the Crane Stream. Good. We will personally go and cut off their heads.
少君，你的身体。
My liege, your health. We are fine. But to be on the safe side, we would like to rely on you to safeguard the temple.
No.
Understood. From a quiet spring flows forth a tranquil stream. A few white cranes feed leisurely by its side. Gazing at this peaceful scenery, one might not think of the bloodshed that had happened here just a night ago.
少君，看那里。
My liege, look over there.
这血迹还相当新，十有八九是余孽留下的。
The trail of blood is fairly fresh. It is highly possible that it was left by insurgents. How ingenious of them to use the stream to escape. Any traces of them would be washed away.
虎丘不大，山下又有守兵，现在还有满山的人在搜寻，躲到山林里很不明智。
Tiger Hill isn't a big place, and there are soldiers stationed at the foot of it. Right now, this hill is crawling with people, so it would be very unwise of them to try to hide in the forest. Where does the Crane Stream lead to?
北京野河流向揽月湖，南则流入姑苏城的外河。
To the north, it flows into Moon Lake. To the south, it flows to the river just outside of Jisoo City.
陈峰调查过血迹周围，余孽大概已经兵分两路。
After examining the bloody tracks, I have determined that the insurgents split up and went in 2 different directions. There are many mountains around Moon Lake, so it would be easy to hide there. But the river outside of Jisoo is very busy with boats coming to and fro, so it would be easy to escape there as well. Prime Minister, Sheng Fang, which direction do you think they would most likely take? I'm taking that line again. I'm going over. Prime Minister, Sheng Fang, which direction do you think they would have most likely taken?
逆贼既然已经受伤，单打独斗反而会增加自己的风险，不如藏木于林，混迹在普通国人中间，乘船离开姑苏。
Since the intruder is injured, it would be easier to hide amongst the masses to find an opportunity to leave Jisoo.
揽月湖，
I'd say Moon Lake. Oh, frick. Oh, no. It's time to save. Again, it does nothing for us. But, like, what if it did something? I don't want to have to pick between these two, but like also if we apply logic, if we go into my beautiful mind palace for a second, if the perpetrator is injured and trying to leave with the archival officer in tow, it would be difficult to get the archival officer through the river outside of Jisu because there are people looking for this particular archival officer. So I would think that maybe he's at Moon Lake. But also, if I were to choose between these two men and their opinions, I would most likely go with, and this is not because of a kink or anything, the fact that I have to specify, I would have to go with the older gentleman, because like he would have a better idea of these sorts of things, you would think. We're going south. The river outside of Jisu is at the foot of this hill. Even with the hostage, it would be easy for the insurgents to escape from there. Since it is already noon, we are afraid.
不必担心，臣今早下令封锁山脚时，也扣住了途经虎丘的所有船只。
No need to worry. This morning I gave the order to seal up the foot of this hill, to detain all boats that were en route from Tiger Hill. Good. The Prime Minister has already taken action, so we will depart immediately from the river outside of Jisu. Shenfang, take some men south with you. Do not hesitate to kill anyone who is acting suspiciously, even if they seem to be acting as the bait.
No.
Understood. Wu Zishu and I take a carriage down the mountain. Although it is more comfortable, it is also slower. The more I think about the situation with the archival officer, the angrier I get. Prime Minister, can't we go any faster?
臣已经派了重兵看守，龙神信徒不可能逃跑，也没机会伤人。
I have already sent our strongest soldiers to keep an eye out for the insurgents. The followers of the Dragon God will have no opportunity to escape or hurt anyone. So the reason you are so calm right now is because you already knew that the followers of the Dragon God would appear.
同是祭祀龙神的巫祝，少君可知道巫贤和施家夫妇的区别？
Even though both Mage Xian and the head of the Shi clan were mages serving the Dragon God, do you know what the difference is between them? We remember that they had served us for over 100 years, but Mage Xian did a lot of things in secret, such as prioritizing the Dragon God first, and the King's orders second. Towards the end, he even defied the orders of the King.
正是，当年先王妃王僚自立，以王僚为傀儡的巫贤便召集了不满之人，将他们的魂魄献给龙神，换取超凡之力。
That's right. At that time, the former king wanted to break away from the Dragon God, but Mage Xian called together all the disgruntled people and had them dedicate their souls to the Dragon God in exchange for extraordinary powers. So this is why all the followers hated the former king and made a contract with the Dragon King that was impossible to back out of.
对，余党一定会千方百计保存实力，蛰伏到可以复仇的时候。当年臣剿灭他们时，便已有这个准备了。
That is correct. The rest of the insurgents would have remained hidden until they had the power to retaliate. We were prepared for such a day when I executed all the believers years ago. Ah, they hate us and we hate them. We will not forget the shame that we had to live with all these years.
少君不忘此仇，足以告慰先王。
It would be a comfort to the former king to know that you, my liege, have not forgotten your need for vengeance. It feels like he's going to pat me on the head like he used to when I was a child, but with a turn of my head, everything goes back to normal.
到了，就在那里。
We are here. Look over there. I turn to see where Wu Zishu is pointing. Lined along the banks are boats of various sizes, their captains kneeling at the bow of their individual ships. Wu Zishu follows me behind me as I slowly walk by the first boat. If I wasn't used to him, I would be like the captains of these boats, trembling at the aura of his murderous intent. An old boat catches our attention. It is blackened with dirt. The captain has also prostrated him. Prostrated. The captain has also prostrated himself so low that you can see a pile of dirty sails bunched up in a clump behind him. Although there is nothing special about it, something doesn't seem quite right.
里面还有其他人吗？
Is there anyone else inside there? Wu Zishu suddenly walks up and onto the boat. His voice is deep and his speech slow, causing all who hear it to feel a deep sense of threat. However, the captain does not even lift his head. I suddenly realize the danger and discreetly pull out my sword. While the rest of the detained captains are watching us with great interest, only this boat's captain fails to move a muscle.
答话！
Answer me. The captain then leaps abruptly. Wu Zishu is ready for it, and with a wave of his sword, he cuts down the man. The body of the captain falls into the water. After a moment of stunned silence, all the captains who witness it suddenly go into an uproar. Wu Zishu lifts up the dirty clump of sail, and underneath it lies a hidden, comatose youth. The youth. The youth is wearing simple clothes, but they are more refined than a commoner's. He has thin shoulders, a slender waist, and a face that is no larger than my palm. Rather than a delicate youth, it may be more convincing to say that he is a girl who has just turned 15. This must be the archival officer from the Kingdom of Qi. Wu Zishu shoots me a look that tells me to stop talking. Revealing such secrets would only bring me more trouble. I approach the unconscious girl and watch her breathe steadily. She doesn't appear to be injured, but her hands are clutching something tightly to her chest. She is clutching a dagger under her sleeves. The guard of the dagger is covered with an intricate design of a bird with precious stones for eyes. It is very beautiful. Prime Minister, did you see that?
这把短剑不是俗物，可以好好调查。
That is no ordinary dagger. We need to examine it more closely. I wasn't talking about that. An uncomfortable feeling washes over me. I reach out to take the inauspicious dagger away from the girl, but when I touch it... my chest.
少君，
My liege. It hurts so badly. Chapter 2. Where am I? Is this another dream?
家王灰飞烟灭，一无妄仇，石破神盟。破家王，一无妄仇，破家王，破家王，灰飞烟灭。
My chest is hurting so much. When I extend my hand over my chest, it feels as if the pain were transferring into my fingertips. The pain. I'm scared. I try to cry out, only to produce a hoarse hissing sound like my throat is filled with torn cotton batting. The bones that have been exposed to the air quickly blackens and crumbles to pieces. The body finally decomposes and slowly turns into dust that is carried away by the wind.
魂灭生死，夫差，你也终于步上历代吴王的后尘。
Now that your body is dead, Fu Chai, and your soul destroyed, you are finally following in the footsteps of the kings that have gone on before you. I am not Fu Chai. I am Teng Yu.
你是叛盟者。
You are a traitor.
不过可惜啊，凡人是不可能更改神盟的。
But it is a shame that humans cannot alter the sacred vow.
弑神大罪，必将。
But it is a shame that humans cannot alter the sacred vow. The royal family of Ning have committed a great travesty against the gods that will surely be avenged 1,000 times over. In despair, I hug my broken body tightly. If I cry now, would tears or blood or my eyeballs fall out? What is this breaking through the darkness? It's the jade fish. Then I hear a familiar song. It instantly transports me back to a time from my childhood. There, my fears, pain, and despair disappear. At the edges of my consciousness, a large, pale green fish swims by as the song seems to trail behind it. I watch it swish its tail, and a certain youth almost comes to mind. In my hazy memories, he is happily singing that all too familiar children's song. I stare at him quietly, fearing that my memory of him will disappear if I interrupt him. Why are the years of one's childhood shorter than those of a beautiful dream? The youth gives me a cheerful smile. He says, "Don't be afraid." My throat is dry and my eyes are sore as the feeling begins to return to my fingertips. Seems like my nightmare is over. The lights outside are burning bright, and it appears that night has fallen upon us.
少君醒了。
Are you awake, my liege? Where am I? Shenfang holds me up by my shoulders, and a wet cloth falls from my forehead.
相国说，少君在河边昏倒后就发起了烧，所以他将您和那名齐国史官都带到了祭庙别院。
The Prime Minister also said that you, my liege, has started to burn up with fever after fainting, so he had you and that archival officer from Qi brought to the temple. Did you manage to capture the other rebel?
在蓝月湖边的一处山洞外找到了，不过他打算鱼死网破，已被陈峰斩杀。
We found her trying to break out of the nets by the shores of Moon Lake, so I had to decapitate her. Good. As long as you return to us unharmed, then all is well. I need to go and see that officer from Qi. Give me my change of clothes.
诺。
Understood. It is strange that you're not stopping me.
怕少君不喜。
I'm afraid that my objection will displease you, my liege. Jeebies! Haha, are you afraid of displeasing me? The last time you made me so angry was when you finished all the treats given to me by the Kingdom of Yu. Even after doing that, your expression remained so impassive.
陈峰得为少君试毒。
I was only testing them for poison. You did not have to eat all of them to test them for poison.
每块点心都不一样，无法区分。
All the treats were different, so I was unable to tell them apart. Oh, how noble of you and how petty of me.
越国点心挺好吃的。
It seems that the treats from you were really quite delicious. Hey!
少君，我为您系上鱼玉吧。
My liege, let me tie the jade fish amulet onto your belt. It is only then that I notice I've been clutching onto the jade fish this whole time. I hand it over to Cheng Fang with a sigh. I had another nightmare just now. was a good thing that I also have this jade amulet.
要是遗光还在就更好了，他肯定能彻底驱走那些恶魔，
If
不让
only
守军为病痛所苦。
If only Yigang were still around, he would have been more than capable of chasing away the bad dreams and relieving you of the pain of your afflictions. While Sheng Feng fastens the jade amulet to my belt, he suddenly stills his hands, and a hint of vexation falls over his usually calm demeanor. Yes, how nice it would be if Yigang were here. My heart aches at the thought as I change the subject. Aren't I alive and well right now?
都是陈凤无能，连替您受苦都做不到。
I curse the fact that I am so helpless and unable to shoulder your burdens for you. Thank you. The fact that you're willing to shoulder my burdens has made me very happy. After all, if you were not here, there would be no one else to whom I could complain.
少君，
My liege. Ah, but please try to control your appetite a little bit more next time. At the very least, leave me half a bite of the treats to try.
诺。
Understood. I burst out laughing when I hear him reply in such a serious manner, and the pain in my chest lessens a little. However, speaking of treats from the Kingdom of Yu, I hesitate a little before asking. Do you know how the King of Yu is faring?
听说还关在守灵人小屋。
I heard that he is still locked up and guarded in that hut.
少君，相国说齐国公孙乙现在候于正厅，少君醒来就请整理好衣冠，马上过去。
My liege, the Prime Minister said that Gong Sun-yi is now waiting for you at the main hall. If my liege is awake, please make yourself presentable and go there immediately. Gong Sun-yi? Why is he here? Sheng Feng shoots me a look that tells me that he has no idea and that this could be about either. I quickly put on my headwear and rush out of the room. Just as I open the doors, I quietly whisper some instructions to Sheng Feng. Go to the hut by the mausoleum and keep an eye on the guards. Make sure they don't make things difficult for Gao Jin. Gao Zhane? Gao Zhane. Lots of names. Lots of Chinese names. Understood.
吴相国，你让士兵叫我们挟持至此，究竟是什么意思啊？
More bitching. From Gong Sun-yi. Prime Minister Wu, why are your guards holding us here?
先生带护卫深夜潜入吴国先王祭庙陵墓，我倒想知道先生什么意思。
I would like to know why you, good sir, and your guards were caught sneaking into the mausoleum of Ning's former king in the middle of the night.
明知故问，我们在驿馆等了1天1夜了，不但没有任何消息，大王还派士兵软禁我们，我们不来亲自确认，还能怎么办？
You should know why. What else was I supposed to do? We were placed under house arrest in the guest house for a day and a night and without any news. But we agreed on 2 days. Upon hearing my voice, Gong Sun-yi and Wu Zishu both stop arguing and greet me with a bow.
既然期限未到，先生何必又做出此等失礼之事呢？
Since we are still within the agreed deadline, why would such a gentleman, such as yourself, do something so rude and unreasonable? Gong Sun-yi's face turns red, then pales. If this person is so reckless and impatient that he would place himself in such a precarious position as to give Wu Zishu and I the advantage, then we have no reason to suspect he has a hidden agenda. Prime Minister, we believe you are being too harsh. After all, this is his family friend that we are talking about. Gong Sun-yi has just worried himself into a frenzy.
臣向先生赔不是。
I apologize.
不过先生连1天都等不及，这种关心程度，也实在异于常人啊。
The fact that you are so worried that you cannot wait one more day makes me wonder what sort of relationship you must have with your missing officer.
公事随臣，私事事交，岂能不急？
In court, he is my subordinate, and hence my responsibility. Personally, he is a family friend, and thus I am obligated to look out for him. How can I calmly wait for news of him? Are you sure?
大王此话何意？
Your Majesty, whatever do you mean? You barged into our court, and yet we defended you from your own ministers, and even promised to find your friend within 2 days. We did all these things because we admire your loyalty to your friend and to your king. However, as soon as our backs were turned, you tried sneaking into the Forbidden Temple. Have you no regard for us?
大王，这是在藐视君威啊！
Your Majesty, this is high treason.
外臣绝无此意。
That was not my intention. Enough. It is clear that you, Gongsun Yi, are mocking us. We will be writing a letter to your king, and you can forget about saving your lowly officer. When he hears how serious my tone of voice is, and sees my stern expression, Gongsun Yi prostrates himself on the ground with a loud thud. His voice quivers as he speaks.
求大王务必救回齐军爱妹少将。
I beg you, Your Majesty, to rescue the King of Qi's beloved sister, Xiaojing. What? The child is our...
女公子听说要嫁到吴国，便吵着要见吴王一面。齐军向来宠溺小妹，哪经得住他软磨硬泡，同意他扮作男子，随外臣来吴国。
When the princess heard that she was to be married to the King of Ning, she insisted on meeting you at least once prior. The King of Qi spoils his sister, and had agreed to let her come in the guise of a man.
没想到。
And to think that... This is ridiculous.
大王，外臣真的不是故意激怒您。如果不能带女公子安全返回齐国的话，外臣罪该万死啊！
Your Majesty, it was not my intention to anger you, but if I do not deliver the princess safely back to the kingdom of Qi, I will be sentenced to 1,000 deaths. Fine. Since Xiaojing is our bride-to-be, how can we stand by and do nothing? Rest assured, we shall do our best to find her.
歹徒只是将人挟持，必定有所求。女公子性命应该
Didn't
无
we
忧。
just find her? Maybe we're keeping it a secret that we just found her, but we just found her. Before we fainted. The perpetrators have only kidnapped her, and may yet use her to make demands of us. The princess's life should be in no danger.
齐国使团在异国他乡行事也不方便，不如安心交给我们秘密查访，以免打草惊蛇。
It wouldn't be convenient for agents of Qi to move around in a foreign country, so why don't you let us investigate the matter secretly, lest we alert the enemy?
相国所言不无道理，但那毕竟是女公子，齐军若是来信催促，我又该怎么交代呢？
The Prime Minister has a point. However, we are talking about the princess. If the King of Qi sent a letter regarding this matter, how should I respond? Although we cannot guarantee that we will find the princess immediately, we will send someone to investigate this matter right away, and will give you an update in 2 days.
我就算掘地3尺，也会将女公子平安带回来的。
Even if I have to dig into the ground a mile deep, I promise to bring the princess back safely, and in one piece.
天也快亮了，我这就备车将先生送回驿馆休息。今天上虎丘之事，还望先生暂时保密。
Morning will be here soon. I'll go and prepare the carriage to take the envoy back to the guest house to rest. I hope that you will keep secret what happened today at Tiger Hill.
外臣明白， 就拜托大王了。
Yes, I understand. I will leave this matter in your hands, Your Majesty. Gong Sun Yi bows deeply before turning around and walking away despondently. I don't believe he has any other option but to trust us with this matter. After Wu Zishu sends Gong Sun Yi out the door, he turns around and pulls me into an empty room.
少君，相国。
My liege, Prime Minister.
那少女还没醒吗？
Okay, so we did find her. That's what I thought. Has the young girl awakened? Zhendan frowns and shakes his head while pointing towards a soft couch. The young girl we saved yesterday is still sleeping, but her complexion looks even worse than before. Her lips have turned dark purple, and she appears to be in pain. Why is she still holding on to the dagger? This time I am sure it is not just me. This dagger is giving me a bad feeling. Could it be the cause of Xiao Jiang's current predicament?
少君别动！
My liege, don't move. A black shadow pounces out of the blade as Wu Zishu pulls me behind him in the blink of an eye. The horrid thing is like a mist, but gives off the smell of dead bodies. With shocking speed, and before we can react, it closes the distance between us with a whoosh. Whoosh. Just when we are about to be swallowed up by the black mist, it suddenly stops as if hitting an invisible wall, then disappears. Wu Zishu and Zhendang are both wearing serious expressions. I guessed what just happened was not my imagination. What exactly is that dagger?
恐怕是怨咒的媒介。这少女到现在还昏睡不醒，是因为中了咒术。
I'm afraid that it is an instrument to carry out the curse. The fact that this young girl is still unconscious and is also a result of the curse.
致命吗？
Will she die?
就像慢性毒药，钝刀杀人。少君切勿再动那把短剑，否则可能也被咒术缠上。
It is like a slow-acting poison that will kill a person after a period of time. My liege, please do not touch that dagger. If you do, you may also become cursed. Is the head priest even able to break this curse?
我试过了，这咒术很是怨毒，以3重命为代价，恐怕连施法者都天命了，凭我一人无法相敌。
I've tried, but this curse is very vicious. It requires 3 lives to break it, including the spellcasters. I am afraid that I alone will not suffice. Why are they casting such malicious curses? Why are they casting such malicious curses on innocent people? Worried, I look at Xiao Jiang. This young girl is going to die in her prime simply because she was curious about her husband-to-be. Head priest, her expression seems to have become peaceful.
好像有什么力量驱散了邪气。莫非是刚刚保护少君的微光？
Yes, it seems as if there is a strong force fighting against this malicious curse. Could it be the light that protected my liege? Light. I glance at the jade fish on my waist to see it looking the same as usual. If anything can protect us from this curse, it would be this jade amulet.
少君，那玉佩可否借我一看？
My liege, can I see the amulet? Yes. When Shengdan has his hands on the jade fish, his face lights up with understanding.
难怪，这块玉里有很强大的巫力，肯定是他驱散了邪气。
No wonder. This amulet holds a strong power. It can undoubtedly help break this curse. Before he died, this was given to us by our childhood friend, Shi Yungang. It had saved our life once before during the sacrificial ritual.
施遗光，啊，就是施家大主夫妇的那个天才儿子啊！我在成为郑家家主之前，可是常听到他的大名呢。
Shi Yungang. Wow, wasn't he the genius of the Shi family and the son of the previous head priest and head priestess? I had heard a lot of things about him even before I became the head of the Shang family and the head priest. When I heard him talk about Yi Gang so casually, I grow speechless and can only nod my head.
鱼玉既然能驱逐邪气，那么大柱可用它解除这个咒术吧。
If this jade fish amulet can dispel malicious spells, can it be used to break this curse?
不能。刚刚我稍微一试，他将我的巫力弹回来了。器物有灵，想来应该是玉灵认了十一光为主，所以遵从他的命令保护少君。
Sorry, I have already tried that, but my magic just bounces back. Apparently this amulet has a will of its own. It only recognizes Shi Yu Gang as its owner, and is protecting my liege as it was commanded to do. But isn't Yu Gang...
可见十一光保护少君的意愿非常强烈啊。
To think that Shi Yu Gang's final wish to protect my liege was so strong.
可惜，没主人驱使，也只能被动起作用了。幸好它还有一定威力。
It is a pity that without an owner it can only work passively. Luckily it still has some power. Like what happened just now.
没错，可不是把相国也护住了。
That's right. Did it not protect the Prime Minister too?
狱中的纯净巫力可驱邪，如果少君待在这少女的身边，大概她被邪气侵蚀的时间也会变缓一些。
The pure magic in this jade can purify evil. If my liege is willing to stay by the side of this young girl, it can slow down and alleviate the effects of this curse.
难不成少君还得时时刻刻带着这孩子吗？
You don't expect my liege to take this child wherever she goes, do you?
那倒是不必。没有解咒之法，也就只有早死和晚死几天的区别而已。
That would be unnecessary. After all, if we don't break the curse sooner rather than later, she will die. It will only take a few days. I don't know if Zhang Dang's talk about death or my memory of Yi Gang that causes me to feel something evil spark in my heart. If only we had succeeded in killing the dragon god 5 years ago. The head priest and head priestess would still be of the Xi clan, and not only would we be able to save Xiaojiang, but we would also have nothing to worry about, would we not?
少君，
My liege. I'm suddenly made aware of what I just said. I'm about to apologize to Shang Dang when he smiles and waves his hand dismissively.
少君说得对，施家本就是吴越第一武，就连楚国的巫野也自叹不如。
My liege is not wrong. The mages of the Shi clan were the most powerful mages in the kingdoms of Ning and Yu. Even the mages in the kingdom of Chu could not overcome them.
少主遗光的才能，更是令巫者艳羡，就连我也未能免俗，有些嫉妒他呢。
Even the young Yi Gang was extraordinarily talented, and was admired by every mage. I am sure that I will never be able to measure up to him in this lifetime. Truth be told, I am quite envious of him.
不过，斯人已逝，我们也只能基于现实想办法了。我去准备些补气的药，至少让他的气血足够扛到回齐国吧。
But no one can bring back the dead. We can only resolve this on our own. I will prepare some medicine so that she will endure the journey back to the kingdom of Qi.
少君，
My liege. We understand it is our fault after all.
臣以为我们是得基于现实想办法了。少将随时会死，我们得对公孙先生和齐军有个交代。
I thought that we were going to find a solution. Since Xiao Zhang may die at any moment, we should at least report it to Mr. Gong Sun Yi and the King of Qi. Ha! Even if those villains were still alive and had been handed over to the kingdom of Qi, do you really think he would believe our incredulous explanation?
即使相信了，反倒是握住了吴国的软肋，断不可行。
Even if he does believe it, he would be able to hold the kingdom of Ning accountable and would likely break our alliance. We have heard that the kingdom of Qi is a willful person, And when we went to the kingdom of Liege to take back his queen, he invaded many of its cities. If his precious sister were to die here in Ning, we do not believe he would break only our alliance.
还有一个办法。
There is another way. Putting my troubled thoughts aside, I raise my downcast eyes and look at Wu Zishu. With his hands together, he throws out his arms and bends at the waist in a deep bow.
臣请少君诛杀越王勾践。
Hey, friend. You still haven't explained to me why. Okay. I beg my liege to execute the king of Yu, Gao Zhen. This man has prepared this whole scenario because he's smart like that. Where he's like, we're holding this guy for a murder that we think maybe he did. Probably as a convenient excuse. And how dare he? Prime Minister, do you know what you are asking?
少君不是想知道臣为何要扣押勾践吗？
Does my liege not wish to know why I have detained Gao Zhen?
虎丘看守严密，封神阵之事也只有极少数人知道。龙神信徒知道禁区所在，还熟知水道地形，能提供这两样情报的，这世上只能数出寥寥几人。
Few people know about the guards on Tiger Hill, and even fewer could have provided the Dragon God's followers with information on its forbidden areas, waterways, and terrain. This is purely the Prime Minister's speculation. Gao Zhen is entirely ignorant of the Dragon God and matters regarding the seal.
这同样是少君的妄断。假如两者勾结，难道龙神信徒不会告诉勾践吗？
That is also an assumption, my liege. If they are in cahoots, would not the followers of the Dragon God share their information with him?
少君不妨再想想，
My liege.
如果龙神信徒得逞，谁能获利最多？反之亦然。你能想到的，别人也能想到。
My liege, if the Dragon God's followers are successful, who else would most benefit from it? On the other hand, if you can think of it, someone else has already thought of it. Wu Zishu raises his head and shoots me a look. It feels like he wants to extract a logical explanation for my confusion, and to chain up any excuse I may have for pardoning Gao Zhen. When the king of Yu lost the war, he offered to guard the former king's mausoleum as part of his reparation, and so we agreed to pardon him. Would our honor not be in question if we went back on our word now?
少君宽恕勾践杀父之仇，已是天下罕见的美德了。如今勾践图谋不轨，害死女公子，世人只会看到他忘恩负义。
It was divinely gracious of you to forgive Gao Zhen for killing your father. Now everyone will see him as an ingrate for conspiring to kill the princess. No, that's not logical. The kidnappers may not have known that the victim was the Princess of Qi. And even if they wanted to start a war, or even threaten us, did they really need to use such a dark spell?
这些问题肯定需要详细调查，但齐军和世人需要知道的真相，只要合乎情理就够了。
We need to investigate further for these questions to be answered. However, the King of Qi, as well as the rest of the world, needs a reasonable explanation. So this should suffice for now.
少君不也说，即使抓住龙神信徒，也会被当成笑话看吗？
Did my liege not say that even if he catches the followers of the Dragon God, he would still be the laughingstock of the world?
既要赶紧送少将回国，又要阻止齐军发兵， 时间紧迫，我们只能先治罪，再查证了。
Right now, we not only need to expedite Xiaojiang back to her kingdom, but also prevent the King of Qi from waging war on us. We are facing an extremely tight schedule and can only convict him now. We can look into it further at a later time. Then wouldn't Gao Chen be nothing more than a scapegoat? Wu Zishu pauses. When he finally speaks again, his voice holds an unutterable sadness in it.
先王逝去还不满3年，血都没冷透。少君当真觉得勾践无辜吗？
It has not been 3 years yet since the former king passed away, and the memories of him are still very fresh. Does my liege really believe Gao Zhen is innocent? The late king had his life taken by the sacred seal of the dragon god, but right before that he was already seriously wounded by the Yu's general, Ling Gufu, who had been acting on Gao Zhen's command. None of these men has killed my father with their own hands, nor are they innocent of his blood. Now the dragon god is trapped inside the Ding. Ling Gufu died in battle. Gao Zhen has entered the Ning as a slave, and that all of our enemies have seemingly placed themselves at our mercy, but we are well aware of the danger lurking beneath the surface. The Prime Minister is saying that we shall leave no loose ends and spare no one.
豺狼卧于榻下，岂能安眠？从咬死你父王的那一刻起，他就永远惦记着血的味道了。
Shall we not be robbed of a single good night's sleep unless there is no ravenous wolf lurking in our shadows? From the moment it took your father's life, it has not been able to forget the taste of blood.
少君若要贯彻先王遗志，万万不能留下后患。
If my liege means to carry out the former king's final wishes, then you mustn't leave any loose ends. Since I cannot refute what he just said, I can only shake my head silently. I know, but to leave no loose ends and spare no one. I could not help but to recall the times when I was a helpless victim who survived narrow escapes from the merciless slaughter of Dragon God and those sanguinary coups committed by ambitious aspirants like Fogay. One single careless move could have risked me everything, because no one at the time had ever thought of sparing me. I had my life and even my dignity at the mercy of those who had once dominated my fate. It should be water under the bridge, and yet could it be said that all those agonies I had been suffering have too vanished into thin air? How much I suffered from those agonies then is how much I resent those making me suffer from their cruel deeds. Who could have thought that I am now dominating over another person, and that his life and his dignity are all at my mercy?
少君不说话，是另有良策了吗？
Are you silent because you have a better plan, my liege? There is no better plan. Who would benefit most from it? The kingdom of Ning would benefit the most in pinning the crime on Gao Zhen. Do I, however, have to become the kind of person whom I've resented and despised most, even though this is exactly what the late king has chosen to be? The late king has determined to seal the dragon god by hook or by crook that he dared spill innocent blood of the entire sheep clan. By so he has taken away from me one of those remaining people on this earth who are near and dear to me, and that he has also stolen my dearest father away, his gentle smile eventually turning into the face of a ferocious revenger, even though the kingdom has benefited from the king's cruel deeds. I understand, of course, that all these were done at a last resort and as means to survive, but I could not help thinking whether this is the only possible way. If I were in the same shoes, would I have done the same thing that Dragon God did, that I would slaughter that I would slaughter thousands of people just like my brothers and remain unsympathetic to do it? Or would I be the same as the late king, that I would dare spill innocent blood of people like the Shi clan to achieve my goal? And would I care for people like IU, who lost their loved ones and suffer from agonies of grief ever since? Would I need to be the same heartless murderer, so that my kingdom could benefit from it?
那少君还犹豫什么？
Why are you still hesitating, my liege?
杀父之仇，诸神破盟，连其北上，哪桩不是身为吴王必须做的大事？难道你忘了3年前的誓言了？
Are these not the things you must do as the king of Ning, to avenge your murdered father, to break the sacred vow, and to expand your alliance northward? Or have you forgotten the promise you made 3 years ago? We will not forget our revenge, and we swear to break the sacred vow.
既然不忘，就不可以以权谋私。你放弃私仇，我佩服你心胸宽广；你不愿成亲，我体谅你志向远大。
Since you have not forgotten your vows, then you should not seek power for personal feelings. I admire you for letting go of your personal grudges, and understand your ambitions when you turn down offers of marriage.
但是你要对着一头饿狼心软，就是善恶不分，是非不辨。
But if you
属
let a
臣不能
ravenous
苟同。
But if you let a ravenous wolf like Gao Zhen off the hook, that would only mean you have no sense of right and wrong, and I will have to beg to differ. My heart is pounding with an overwhelming intensity of hatred and grief, in which the faces of my deadly enemies and my loved ones are becoming one. They are demanding that Fu Chai shall revenge in violence and blood, while begging at the same time that IU shall never repeat the dastardly deeds that have been wrongly done to them. I feel deeply disturbed. In every single night and every single dream that I have no control on, these voices have never, ever allowed me to let go. Is it not exactly what Wu Zishu has said, that ever I be not robbed of a single good night's sleep?
少君，勿重私情，以国为重啊！
My liege, please place your kingdom before your personal feelings. When have we not placed the good of the kingdom before everything else? Even our life is not as important as the good of the kingdom. I punched the pillar next to me with all my might. How could it ever be possible that I'm doing this only out of some personal feelings for a certain somebody? Those conflicted emotions nearly rip me in half, and I find them so hard to carry on. Maybe all these do not matter anymore. The seal of the dragon god seems to be weakening, and I don't know how much longer I could stay alive. These are the things I cannot share with Wuzishu. Those weak and fragile feelings. These agonies of grief and hesitation. They never should have existed in the first place. This matter involves 3 countries. While we will take your words into consideration, we must deliberate over the matter before coming to a decision. Wuzishu wants to continue the discussion, but I do not wish to argue with him any further. So I turn around and refuse to look back. I step out of the royal gardens with my head still spinning from the discussion. I feel like I cannot breathe. I clutch my jade fish amulet. Since this pain is not caused by the sacred seal, it only serves to comfort me. The bloodied water once filling Lake Tai and the sword pond all those years ago is, again, flashing before my eyes. I wonder if my friend ever regretted giving the jade fish to me at that time. Isn't kith and kin more important than the kingdom of Ning? I laugh at myself. Between the kingdom and family, the Shi clan chose the kingdom over their own family, whereas Fu Chai should be only left with his kingdom and nothing else. And yet I am here, still being trapped in a past long gone.
少君，
My liege. Shenfang, why are you not at the caretaker's hut?
我正要向少君禀报，勾践从其居所逃脱。
I am here to report that Gao Zhang has escaped from the hut. What?
相国要审问勾践，命守卫打开内室房门，没想到勾践已经拆下窗户逃跑了。
When the Prime Minister went to his cell to interrogate him, he had already escaped through the window. Do you know where he is?
不知，不过在他脱身的窗台上钉了一根布条。
No, I'm sorry, but he nailed a piece of cloth to the window from which he escaped. Shenfang, we want you to hide near the crane stream. Make sure that you are able to see us talking to Gao Zhang, and that no one else can listen in on our conversation.
如果勾践要对少君不利，
What happens if Gao Zhang attacks you? He will not. But even if he does, we still have you.
no，
Understood. A young slave stands alone by the edge of the stream. Though his clothes are worn, they are immaculate. The 3 years he has lived as a slave have not diminished any of his noble bearings. Without me realizing it, my hurried pace slows down. Our 3 years of friendship was established in this dreamlike and sandy place. I had hoped that I would not have to face the harsh reality before this land collapses. To personally destroy our sandy dreamland is one thing, but to have the tides destroy it is yet another. Honestly speaking, what happened that year was an accident that should never have happened. Aju. The youth turns towards me with a smile.
阿玉，你果然见到布条了。
He's using the nickname. He's using the nickname. I also have to create a new voice. You saw the piece of cloth. Why? Why did you call me here?
3年前在这养鹤涧，你去捡掉到水里的玉佩，我却以为你要寻死，强行把你拽上了岸，结果被你揍了一顿。
3 years ago, it was in this stream that you dropped your amulet, and then gone looking for it in the water. I thought you were trying to drown yourself and dragged you to shore only to get beaten up by you.
我们相识的场景真是很尴尬。
The way we met was very awkward. Yes.
虽然你是我唯一的知心好友，今天我却不得不让你再尴尬一回了。
Even though you are my only close friend, I will need to make things awkward again. Huh? Suddenly, Gao Zhang's expression turns serious. He faces me, gets down on his hands and knees, and then bows.
罪臣勾践失礼于大王，求大王救我！
Pardon my impropriety, but I beg your majesty to save me. You, how long have you known that I am the king of Ning?
你既不是寂渺的巫祝，又带着虎贲氏自由出入附近。我不是傻子，怎么会看不出来你身份特殊？
You are not the priest, but you commanded the guards on Tiger Hill. I am not stupid. How could I not see that you were someone with authority?
昨天你2次交代士兵宽待我，已经证实了我的猜测，所以我才冒死逃出来找你声明，我是清白的。
So it turns out he's one of the main leads. So I assume we will not be forced to kill him. But like, how metal would it be if you're like one of your choices, like your second choice, because we've only had one choice at the moment. Your second choice is, hey, do you want to kill one of the main leads? Do you want to permanently cut yourself off from that that line of That would be wild to me. That's wild to me. Yesterday, you told the guard to be lenient with me twice. That confirmed my suspicions. Which is why, at the risk of losing my own life, I escaped so I could declare my innocence to you. If you were truly innocent, you needn't have come to me, to us, to explain yourself.
吴相国对我猜忌至深，要先斩后奏。我恐怕等不到更好的伸冤机会了。大王尽可以派人调查，勾践从未谋害过骑士。
Prime Minister Wu is suspicious of me, and intends to condemn me before seeking out the truth. I was afraid that I would never have the chance to clear my name. Your Majesty, please investigate this matter. I, Gao Zhen, have never once plotted against you. Whether you are innocent or not isn't important. The princess is already under a curse and will die very soon. What's worse is that she is the king of Qi's most beloved younger sister.
小妹，
Younger sister?
我明白了。所以，越王勾践便是最合适抵罪的人。
I understand. That is why the king of Yu, Gao Zhen, is the most suitable scapegoat. I look at him silently. It is as Wu Jisoo said. If I can think of it, others have thought of it too. Hence, this is the most logical answer. Gao Zhen suddenly raises his head. He wears a deep and determined expression, his eyes burning bright like searing flames. I am moved to see the flames in his eyes, yet also feel a sharp pain as if they burn me.
越国有神医，可救齐国女公子。
There is a divine doctor in the kingdom of Yu who can create miracles. He can save the princess of Qi. What?
之前听闻大王身体欠佳，我派人四处寻访名医，希望能表我忠心。今日正好为大王解困。
There was a time when I heard that your majesty was in poor health, and so to prove my loyalty I searched diligently for a doctor to cure you. Finally, the time has come for you to use him. We thank you for your kind intentions, but doctors cure illnesses, and the princess suffers from a curse.
我称其为神医，正是因为他不仅医术了得，也精通神鬼咒术。
The reason I call him a divine doctor is because he can not only cure illnesses, but he can also dispel curses and hexes. You should not tell such lies, even if it means that your life would be spared.
大王自然不肯轻信于我，神医难求，怎可能像这般唾手可得？大王不知的却是，这神医是我耗尽心血，花费了许多时间才寻来的。
Your Majesty, please believe me. Do you think it was easy for me to find such a capable divine doctor? It took a lot of time, effort, and resources. Even if you are telling the truth, we are curious to know why you would go to such lengths to find him.
我
Do not tell us that you are sincere about healing us. Even these many ministers would not put that much effort into finding us a healer. Not to mention, you hadn't even confirmed that Yu was the king of Ning.
好吧，我也不瞒大王，寻医表忠心，确实只是漂亮的场面话。
Fine. I will not try to deceive you. Saying that I wish to prove my loyalty to you by finding you medical help is nothing more than flattery.
我留得这条命，全凭大王恩典。若还不懂得讨大王欢心，怕是朝不保夕啊。
The simple fact that I am still alive today is all thanks to your mercy. If I do not do something to please your majesty, I may not even survive beyond this night. Gao Zhen, we have to ask ourselves, when have we ever mistreated you? Even guarding the former king's mausoleum was your request.
罪臣当然知道，大王，阿玉待我甚好。可是，那又如何呢？
I know, your majesty. Yu treats me well. But what of it?
如今， 我还是得跪在大王面前，
Even
恳
now,
求您放我一条生路。
even now, I must kneel in front of your majesty to beg for your mercy. We...
难道我不该费尽心思讨好你？难道我不该抓住每一个机会，为自己的命多求一份保障？
Should I not do everything I can to please you? Should I not take every opportunity to guarantee my survival?
难道我不该献上息事其人，好叫大王记住我，赏识我？难道寻常医者能够令人眼前一亮吗？
Should I not find a rare person just so your majesty might remember and reward me? Would not a patient's eyes light up with hope over such a doctor?
阿玉，如果你是我，难道你不会这样做？
Ayu, if you were me, wouldn't you do the same? Gaojin gives a bitter chuckle that sounds as if there are a lot of unspeakable emotions mixed in with it, so much so that I cannot meet his gaze. How am I supposed to answer him? Although I cannot tell if he is telling me the truth, Gaojin has been a slave these past few years and has tasted more than his fair share of hardship and bitterness. How can I not understand his overly cautious attitude? Don't I also live through every day this same dilemma and agonies of suspense? While Ayu can trust her friends without question, Fuchai cannot.
也许大王还不信我，但人为刀俎，我为鱼肉。我就算诓骗大王活过了今天，还能骗到明天后天吗？
Maybe your majesty still does not believe me, but everything I have, including my life, is at your mercy. If I lied to you, I might survive today, but would I be able to survive past tomorrow or the day after?
说句冒犯的话，救活了女公子，各方皆大欢喜；救不活，也坏不过如今这般状况。
If I may speak my mind, if we save the princess, everyone will be happy. If we can't save her, then we will be no worse off than we are right now. But the longer we wait, the worse the consequences will be.
现在从水路出发，2日内绝对可以到达。如果神医说救不了，可当场斩下罪臣头颅，送到齐军面前。
If we leave now by the waterway, we can reach the doctor in 2 days. If the divine doctor says that she can't be saved, you may cut off my head and present it to the king of Qi.
阿玉，你是无君，所以为了无果让我戴罪，我不怨你。
Ayu,
只是，明明有可以救回女公子的法子，却弃之不用。阿玉，你真的甘心吗？
Ayu, you are the king of Ning. Therefore I would not blame you if you used me as a scapegoat for the kingdom. But would you be satisfied if you did not at least try to save the princess?
追兵来了，女公子和我的命，齐国、吴国的邦交，就都在你的一念之间了。
Oh, frick. Our second choice in the entire playthrough is going to be, do you want to just murder one of the male leads? They have caught up with me. The lives of the princess and I, and the diplomatic relationship between Ning and Qi, are now in your hands.
阿玉，赌赌看吧。
Ayu, let's take the gamble.
大胆勾践，竟敢逃狱，还挟持少君！
Oh, fuck. Ah, fuck. How dare you, Gaojin, to break out of prison and hold my liege under duress? When I see Wu Zishu draw his sword, I know that it is the best opportunity for us to kill Gaojin. As for the crime, dead men tell no tales, so we can spin it however we please. But... Oh. Our second choice ever is just like, do you want to kill one of the main leads? I know what I must do. I must save. Okay. And regrettably, that's what we have time for today. So, if you like this, please like and subscribe and do all the things, the wonderful things. And if you're interested in whether or not I just kill a main lead, just like off the rip, second choice into a playthrough, leave a comment on which one I should do. Please. Help me. Yeah. So bye. Bye. I'm making a cliffhanger. Bye.